Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us from today. Thank you for spending a part of your Tuesday with us. Before we dive in, I just want to make sure that everybody can see and hear us. So if you could please open up the chat and drop where you're tuning in from. That way we'll know that everything is going well. Hello, I can already see somebody in chat. And also maybe you'll find somebody in your region who also uses SEO ranking. All right, I already see a couple of comments coming in, which is great. While you guys are continuing to do that, let me just tell you that we've got a very hands-on session lined up for you today. But in case this is the first time you're joining one of our Rankings digital events, welcome. Our goal with these workshops is simple. Share practical workflows you can use right away that can help you get more value from our platform. All right. Today, we're going to be focusing on SEO Rankings MCP, Model Context Protocol Server. Think of it as a universal adapter between your AI assistant and live SEO data. Now, we had a really close call today. I don't know how many of you have tried logging into ChatGPT or Claude today, but luckily, the issue was resolved maybe like an hour ago. So we are good to go, but we were thinking of rewriting the whole thing, just scratching the script and just winging the whole event. But anyway, I'm happy to say that everything is good to go. So about today's event. So the concept of MCP, once you connect it, your assistant can pull real data on keywords, domains, backlinks, AI search, and SERPs directly into the chat. No CSV exports involved, no copy paste. We'll show you how MCP acts like the USB-C for AI, then put it to work on real tasks. All right, looking back into the chat, I can see, yeah, people know that Cloudflare was down. People from India, South Africa, Ottawa, Nicaragua, US, Denmark, Ukraine, Vienna, from all over the world. This is what I love to see. All right, let me change the slide and say that I'm the host of today's event. My name is Andrew, and I'm part of the marketing team over at SEO Ranking. And today I'm excited to be joined by Guifré Ballester, who is our Senior Product Manager here at SEO Ranking. He leads our API strategy and developer-focused workflows, making him the perfect guide for today's topic. Hey, Guifré, thank you for sitting down with us, and I look forward to seeing what you have to share today.
Hello, Andrew. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here and talk about MCP with you.
Awesome. All right, before we get to the main course of today's event, I want to say a couple of words about SEO Ranking in case you have not heard about us or are new to our platform. So SEO Ranking brings you over 30 purpose-built SEO tools under one roof, from rank tracking, competitive and keyword research, backlinks, to site audits, local marketing, reporting, content creation, and more. So that way teams don't have to stitch together point solutions. On the data side, we go out of our way to make sure we provide high accuracy rankings data and expose the same data sets via a real-time data API when you need programmatic access. And we all know how important teamwork and collaboration are, which is why agencies can white label reports and the interface, add manager or client seats with role-based access, automate recurring reports, as well as shared dashboards. This is very useful when it comes to scaling across multiple stakeholders. And we know that AI is taking over a bit, and AI results are now influencing our search visibility. So SEO Ranking also includes the AI Search Toolkit, which helps you research your competitors in AI, monitor how keywords are surfacing in AI answers alongside traditional results. Okay, that is what I wanted to shamelessly plug SEO Ranking in case somebody's new. Now I want to say a bit, give you an idea what's going to happen today. So the plan is over the next 40 minutes, we'll quickly cover what MCP is and why teams use it. That will be a couple of slides, but then we'll do a live demo, show you how to set up MCP with Claude. Fingers crossed, it's not going to go down again. Then we will briefly give you a demo of Gemini doing the same thing and show you a couple of prompts live and what the analysis results look like. And we'll also preview what's coming next with the development of MCP and leave time for all your beautiful questions. Just in case you have any questions, do not hesitate and throw them into the chat whenever you come up with them. I'll do my best to ask you for them in the moment. If not, we will have a dedicated Q&A. And you do not need to write anything down. We will share the slide deck, the presentation, the replay of it, all the links to the prompt library, to the setup guide. So everything is there. And Before I give the word to Guifré, I just want to find out who are we talking to, just to get a sense of who came to this event. So if you guys don't mind, I have a really quick poll I'd love for you to interact with. It would really help us, create better stuff for you in the future. So yeah, the link is in the chat. Oh, yeah, I see the question in the chat. Well, I'll get to that. Ramahez, I'll get to that in just a bit. Let's first focus on the question. So just help us out, figure out who exactly you are, what kind of people. Yeah, everything is going to be available. The recording is going to be available. As soon as the event is over, you can rewatch it on YouTube and get straight to work. But we will also send you follow-up emails where we'll include everything that you need to know, guide you through the process. Oh, right. We're going with SEO leads. So, all right. I forgot to put on my church clothes, but hopefully this will do because we're dealing with big folks. All right. So thank you. Yeah, I can see that a lot of us, a lot of the guests here are agency owners or heads of SEO, which is really good. Really good. Thank you for coming. All right. Let's end it here. And I'm going to give the floor to Guifré. I'm going to be keeping my eye on the chat. So guys, be sure to throw your beautiful questions in there and we will address them in the moment. Guifré, all the best to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrew. Great introduction. So let me start with one big idea, right, that Andrew already shared a little bit with us. So MCP is basically USB-C for AI. When you plug a laptop or a phone into USB-C, you don't care about the cable, right? You trust whatever it's on the other side, it will connect to the other side. MCP does the same thing for AI assistant. It gives assistants like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini a standard way to talk to real tools and data sources. In our case, the real thing on the other side of the cable is SERanking's API. That means the system does not have to guess from training data. Instead, it can pull live keywords and traffic data, look up domain and competitors, check backlinks and authority, and see AI search and SERP visibility, all through one connector. So why does that matter for you as a SEO or marketer? Because once this connector is in place, you can stay in a single chat window and say things like, find my lost keywords in the US, compare me to competitor A, and give me a short list of pages I should update first. The assistant is not hallucinating a plan. Rather, it calls the MCP server, gets real data from SERanking, and then reasons on top of that. So the MCP is the adapter that turns your assistant from a smart text editor into a real SEO tool that speaks SERanking. And don't worry, this is not going to be 40 minutes of theory. We are going to run a live workflow for you to break things a little bit, okay? So let me show what actually happens under the hood when you run a prompt with MCP. First, you type a question. You are in Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini, and you type something like, compare my domains traffic to a competitor and find keyword gaps, okay? Then the system reads the request and decides, I cannot really answer this from my training. I need real SEO data. So it picks one of the tools we have exposed via MCP, for example, domain overview or domain keywords comparison. The SERanking MCP server, that is what you have installed, it speaks both languages. From one side, it understands the tool that the assistant is making, right? It understands the tool that the AI assistant is using. And from the other sides, it understands what to talk to SERanking's API to fetch the real data that you're interested in. It sends and cleans the structured response back to the system. Then finally, one of the most important parts is the assistant. It turns the JSON into an answer that sounds something like, here are your top competitors, here are the 30 keywords that you should be looking into, right? That's it. So the most important takeaway here is all the tricky parts like the host, the client, and so on lives inside the AI app, okay? The only thing you control is SERanking MCP server and the API key that we are going to give you. So hopefully this is not super intense. Don't worry. Using it will be amazing for you. So just follow us through this process. I will just help you in order to make everything happen. Okay. So what can I actually do with it, right? Before we dive into the setup, I want to give a sense of what is possible. So here you can see 5 different steps that probably you as a SEO marketer, you usually do on your everyday, right? So compare local SERP, link building, domain traffic, keyword research, and right now everybody's talking about AI search, right? So these are jobs that you usually do, pull data from multiple sources, and so on. So we are going to give you tools in order to make your life way easier. So in order to see the prompts that we are going to be using and just give you some kind of inspiration, here we have in SEO Ranking a page where you are able to find a lot of different prompts, just to give you some sense of different ideas that you can use. Okay, the team is going to be sharing this resource with you. So all right, let us do the scary part once together. So over the next few minutes, I will show you how to connect Claude Desktop to SEO Ranking through MCP. After this, you will be able to stay in a chat, still pull live keywords, SRPs, backlinks, and AI search data. Okay? First, a quick checklist of everything that you need in your machine. You will need SEO Rankings Data API, Docker installed, Git installed, and the Claude Desktop application. Okay? If you don't have some of these that right now, don't worry. You can watch the flow and later follow the written steps that we are going to be sharing. Okay, so first step, let's get the API key. So we can go to the SEO Ranking page, right? And here to the top right, we can see start a free trial. So let's do that. So my name is Guifré Ballester. By the way, I'm from Barcelona, in case that there is anyone here from Spain, and I'm going to be creating a test account. Okay. This is going to be sending me an email that I'm going to be opening. And in order to log in, so this is something that everybody can do. And we are in. Okay, this is the onboarding. I'm just going to skip the personalization and just go straight into the platform. Okay. Here, we are going to see the left-hand side navigation. On the bottom, we see the shortcut for the API. We are going to press here, and we see, oh, API dashboard, just the place that we want to go. Sorry, there are some pop-ups, so let me repeat that. API dashboard. Here is everything related to the API. Okay, you are able to see the credit usage and create API keys together with some shortcut, some quick links that might be interested to depending on what you are going to be building. Okay, so as you can see, this is just a brand new account. Everybody can follow the steps from your house. Okay, we are going to be creating an API key. I'm going to be using demo MCP just for me to understand it in the future. In case that I have several API keys, I'm going to be selecting data and create API key. Okay, this is going to be creating the API key, and here it is. Okay, just copy this API key from here and start it somewhere safe. Okay, we will pass it later on into the cloud configuration in a minute. So right now we are going to be installing the MCP server itself. Okay, in case that you want some reference of all the steps and so on, here we have the full documentation and the integration guide for you to follow. Okay, I'm just going to be copying the different steps from here. First step is this one. Here we are going to be, the first command pulls the MCP server code, okay, into our machine. So we open the terminal. Here is the terminal, right? In Mac, you can do command space and type terminal, and this is going to be opening this part of the code. And here I am located right now in this folder because I want to be creating a folder only for this project. Okay, and here I have the code we copied from our documentation. Git clone http github.com SEO ranking SEO. Basically, this is everything that is living in GitHub. Okay, this is our repository. This is everything, all the information that we are going to be pulling down to our computer. So let's get it. these usually take around seconds. So, okay, done. So you can see this is quite fast. Okay, then the second command that we see here on the documentation is cd into SEO data API. What does it mean? It navigates you into the new directory that we have just created. Okay, just let me come here, copy paste, and we are in. So you can see that right now we are under projects into this new folder. Okay, and finally we want to start the server. Okay, here we go. Docker compose build. Okay, we press here, copy the command again to the terminal, and that's it. So right now in the background, the server is going to be started. This takes around a couple of minutes, but don't worry, we can get started. Okay. Hopefully everybody is following along. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and we will help you through this. Right now, the next, we want to tell Claude Desktop that the MCP server exists and how to launch it. Okay, this is the trickiest part of the whole workshop, so we will go slow. Just I assure you that the very end of it is way worth it. Okay, this is something really exceptional is going to happen at the very end. So I'm on Mac OS, okay, and Claude keeps the configuration file in this location. So this is the Finder, okay. Here is the steps that we should do. Basically, we go to the hard drive. Okay, here we go into the user folders, users. Here you select your own users. In this case, my user is Guifré Ballester. Then we go into library folder. You can see that this library is a little bit hidden, right? In order to show hidden folders in Mac, you need to press Command, Shift, and dot. You can see that they are disappearing and they are appearing back into the screen. Okay, so I have pressed Command, Shift, and dot. From here, I am going to be selecting I'm going to be selecting library. Let me see. Okay, library is here. Let me go into the folder. Right now I want to go into application support. This is the folder. Then next I go into clothes, and here it is. Okay, so in case that you can see here around here, because you have used the Claude Desktop in the past with MCP, you will see a file that it's Claude Desktop config.json. Okay, in case that it's here, you can open it on your text editor. Otherwise, what I'm going to do in order to keep things easy is I'm going to copy this JSON file and I'm going to paste it. You see, I have created a copy, and I'm going to open it with Sublime Text, which is my text editor of my choice. Okay, you can use it any text editor that you want. So what we are going to do first, delete all the text, and from here we are going to be copy pasting the text that we see from here, the tutorial. This is the text that I'm interested in. Okay, this text follows a certain structure that is going to be telling the MCP, okay, I'm using an MCP server, and this is the MCP that I am talking in this case, SEO rankings one. Okay, so under environment, we are using one variable that is going to authenticate us. This is the API key. So part of this here, I will be copy pasting the API key I just copied. Okay, so let me go here. Here is the file. I have pasted it, and here in the SEO ranking API key, I am going to copy the API key I got from the API dashboard. Okay, we can see that I'm not cheating in any way. This is the very same API key that we got, 3C397. Okay, 3C397. Okay, and just me save it as in the same folder, but the name is going to be Claude Desktop Config. Okay, this is going to be the name, Claude _ desktop _ config.json. Okay, let me press save. Everything is saved right now. And straight. And how can we see it? Basically, if we come here, right, we see Claude Desktop Config appeared here today just for 20. I'm based in Barcelona, so CST. Okay, so we are ready, basically. What we have done, we have replaced the API key token, and right now the MCP is able to be authenticating our users because we will be consuming credits over here, okay? Just for making sure that everything is working as expected, let me come here to Claude and close it, okay? Remember that on Mac, if you press here, it is only going to be minimized, okay? Rather, we want to restart the application. So I'm going to be pressing Command Q in order to close it. You see that it has disappeared, and I'm just going to open it again to make sure that it is speaking all the new instructions that we have shared with it. Okay, so how to make sure that everything works and the Claude has access to the MCP? So with one simple question. Using natural language, let's ask Claude if it has access to the MCP servers. So let's see if it is able to pull the data that we have just prepared. It is thinking a little bit about the current capabilities, identifying the available MCP servers. And yes, okay, luckily it is able to be, it has identified SE Rankings Data API MCP server. And here it lists all the different features and tools that you can use. You can be using AI search, backlinks, domain analysis, keyword research, SERP analysis, and so on. Okay, so the setup is done. That was the most dense part of the whole workshop. Now we are going to get into some SEO work, and things are going to be super interesting. So now that the MCP is connected, I want to walk through some very real SEO jobs that you probably do every month. Okay, in this case, I will stay in a single chat and let MCP talk to SE Ranking API for me. Our goal is not to build a new interface. The goal is to let the assistant pull the data so that you can focus on decisions, not experts or spreadsheets. Okay, so let me open a new chat window over here. And my first job to be done here as a SEO is around local SERP. So I picked these examples because it's personal. I live in Barcelona, nearby Sant Cugat del Vallès. It's just up the road. So imagine that you run a yoga studio around Barcelona and you are thinking about expanding to Sant Cugat, okay? You want to know 3 very practical things. Who dominates here in Barcelona? Who dominates in Sant Cugat? Which domain show in both places, okay? So with MCP, doing something like this, it's just as you will ask a coworker, right? So here is the prompt. Basically, the text that I have just said to you, using MCP, data, SEO data API MCP, create 2 SERP tasks with the query Yoga Studio, and one for Barcelona and the other one from Sant Cugat using Google Desktop Spanish. Both are done. Me explaining that it will take some time. Just give me the top 10 organic domains, overlap between the lists, and the unique competitors, okay? So just going to send it. For me, this is amazing, okay? So this is going to be seeing how the AI is going to reason and leverage our API on top of it. Usually this is hard because you as a SEO need to provide the technical teams with the request. If there are delays, we are not talking about hours, probably days or weeks, that everybody has their own priorities and so on. But here, we are delegating everything like a junior SEO to the AI, which is amazing for me. So you can see here, it is going to be doing several steps, okay? Just for you not to be having to wait a little bit, because this process takes around 1 to 2 minutes. Instead of staring at the loading spinner, I will just switch to a previous conversation where I have already run the full workshop so that we can focus on the analysis, okay? Here it is, the previous conversation. So here we can see what came from our Yoga Studio example, okay? So this is exactly the same prompt that I have used. It follows a set of different steps in order to pull the different information. And basically we can see here. So for Barcelona, the top domains include Studio de Yoga, Bronze Yoga Studio, Grow Studio, and several social aggregated places like Instagram, TripAdvisor, Urban Sport, and so on. Okay. For Sant Cugat del Vallès, something similar. Studio de Yoga, again, at the top. Love 28 Yoga, and so on. Places like also Yoga One, Sant Cugat, which is like a brand here. Okay. it says also the brand Cloud is also calculating the overlap and highlights what is unique. Okay, the overlap between both cities are 4. Basically, these 4 over here. We can see Studio de Yoga, Hara Yoga Barcelona, and Friesent, plus some platform like Instagram, which is common to happen. Okay. If I am planning an expansion, those overlap domains are my benchmark. They are already pulling people from both markets, which tells you something about their brand strength and content strategy. So the unique domains per city tells a different story. In Barcelona, you see a more variety in business models: pure yoga studios, coaching hybrids, experimental places, tourist-friendly listings, and so on. Instead, in Sant Cugat, you see more hyper-local studios, community hubs, and one big chain like Yoga One. Okay, so as a SEO, this gives me a very quick segmentation. Who is the regional hero? Who are the pure locals? And which aggregations and directories Google trust for this intent? So something important, okay? I never wrote a SERP API request. I did not think about locations IDs or parameters. I described the job in plain language, and MCP plus the assistant figured out which tools to call and in which order. Okay, for me, this is just amazing, seeing how everything happens. Okay, let's go to the second job in this case, okay? So once you know who wins in each city, the natural next step is to question about the authority, okay? Who are getting that strength and which links we are missing? So I'm not going to open another tool. I'm just going to start in the same chat and say something like this. From the overlap that we see here and city-specific competitors we just analyzed, pick the top 3. From each of them, fetch the backlinks, do follow, and only domain trust at least 25. Compare against my domain. So in this case, I'm considering that this is my domain. And basically for link building purposes, okay? We are just going to ask it, okay, this is my domain and I want to expand, so suggest me where to do the link building. The results are just amazing. In this case, the assistant picked 3 logical competitors: Studio de Yoga, because this is the clear market leader; Love 28 Yoga, which is a very close in style and even offers Jiva Monkey, okay, and Hara Yoga Barcelona, which is a large established player reach across the area, okay. Then it will pull the backlinks, filters the do follow, and some decent domain trust, and surfaces the domains that do not link to our studio. Okay, here is the interesting part, because this is not just listing a list of domains, it's a mix of types. Okay, we can see here big lifestyle and wellness magazines, local and Catalan press, city guides like Time Out and Barcelona-specific sites, fitness platforms such as Urban Sports Club, yoga specialist yoga directories, and so on. So as a SEO, you immediately see 3 tracks of work, right? The first is local discovery and citations. Okay, Time Out Barcelona, local directories, Spanish business listings. These are hygienic links, right? If all your competitors have them and you are not, you are leaving authority and discovery on the table. Then we also have editorial and brand building. Health and lifestyle magazines, big blogs, and wellness portals. These are slower to get, but they are positions your studio as one of the references rather than just another studio in Google Maps. Okay? And finally, yoga community and partnerships. So international teacher sites like Ashtanga and Vinyasa communities, retreat organizers. These links are perfect if you do teachers training, workshops, or retreats. Okay. The nice thing here is that the AI assistant, is not just dumping a CSV to us, right? Instead, it is providing referring domains, sample anchors, the domain trust, and even a short explanation of each of them, right? That's just one step away from the strategy. So from here, you can just start with 10 local discovery links and just you know what are the next steps and what you can do, right? So you can see the pattern. The first job used SRP data to map the market. The second just used backlinks data to understand the authority gaps. Okay? And I never once toggled between 3 reports and a spreadsheet. No. I stayed in a single chat, described the job, and the MCP plus the system did all the plumbing from me. Okay? How are you? Everybody's following along?
Yeah, we actually have a legitimate question, which I'm also interested in finding out. So what if we compare the results? Let me just bring it up on the screen. What if we compare the results of the report that you have right now and the report that you ran 10 minutes ago?
Just to have a little bit of faith, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if it has finished. Okay, it didn't. This sometimes happens in case that you leave the window because Claude is going to think that it never finished. Okay, so in order to answer this, I will have to build a little bit of patience and stay in this chat window for a while.
Yeah, well, let's just take another question and see if it starts pulling in data. Another question is there an online MCP server that can be used with web apps rather than local apps like Claude?
That's a great question. Thank you, Kelal23. So this is part of our roadmap. So what we are going to be right now, everything is super dense and technical, right, in order to have it up and running. But we have it on the roadmap in order to probably in mid-December, I would say in a couple of weeks, we are going to be releasing basically remote MCP, which is we are going to be sharing with you a link, seranking.com/MCP. You are going to plug that into ChatGPT, Gemini, and all the others LLMs. And basically, you are going to authenticate yourself. Instead of copy-pasting API key, you are going to be authenticating yourself with Google, okay? Your Google login that you are usually using for different sources like Instagram and so on. And everything is going to start. Just copy-pasting a link, authentication using Google, and that's it.
Awesome. I see another question that we can actually take right now. Can the assistant produce a shareable brief that links back to raw API calls for auditability?
Okay, so if I understood correctly, you want to understand if it is not actually hallucinating on the results, right? Rather, where the results are pulling data. So that's a great question. Thank you. Thank you for asking. So here on each of the different steps, okay, we can go into understanding what is actually happened under the hood, okay? First, this was the 2 SERP tasks, okay? For Yoga Studio in Barcelona and Sant Cugat del Vallès. I built the API, so I know that in order to identify Barcelona and Sant Cugat del Vallès, you need the location ID, and there is a specific endpoint for that. So for me and for the MCP, the first step would be to get those IDs. You can see that here. It is using the SERP locations endpoint, okay, and it's using this request. Country code ES because of Spain, and the query is Barcelona because we want to understand the location ID from Barcelona. And here is the response data, okay? Barcelona has different locations IDs, okay, because you can have the province and so on, but it is correctly picking the one from a city, which is this one, 12998, okay? So it is reasoning on top of the data that it has retrieved and said, I found Barcelona. The main city location ID is 12998. Okay. Then it does the same for Sant Cugat. So ES Barcelona, Sant Cugat del Vallès, it is getting the data and it's saying, okay, this is the location ID that I need. Then the next step is creating 2 SERP tasks. One of it is going to be for Barcelona. This is the one from the location ID, 12998. And this is the response from the API. And then the second one, which is 13031, which is the very same from Sant Cugat. Okay. While this takes a little, usually the SERP takes a little bit in order to finish the request because in our end, the API is connecting to Google, doing the SERP task, pulling the responses, parsing them, and so on. Like you can see that it takes a little bit. That's why I went into history mode. So you can see here, you can see it is actually get the SERP task status and advanced results. So this is basically what you do. Task ID, you provide the task ID, which is the task ID, the one that you get from here. you can see 57,454, 57,1,454, right? And it is say the task is still in processing mode. So you can see that it tried to get the results a lot of times, right? Let me check is the task has finished when, because this is usually taking a lot, right? Until extracted and compared. So eventually this task, and I think that this is the previous one, here, okay, this task finished here, this is the one from Sant Cugat, and the other task just finished about here, which is the one from Barcelona, okay? And then hopefully this answers the question. Sorry, I just wanted to go directly into the finish line before, and you can see that the reasons maybe here the top 10 organic domains change a little bit, okay, because organic results just change from one minute to the second. But here we can see Estudio de Yoga again, first place. You can see TripAdvisor, Instagram, Grow Studio, similar for Sant Cugat del Vallès. They are doing a really good job, estudiodeyoga.com, because always in 4 different SERP tasks, they are in first domain. Overlapping domains, in this case, we have identified 5 and some unique competitors, okay? So yeah, this is it.
Yeah, okay. I see we have a couple of more questions, but I would rather we focus on Gemini and then have the Q&A where we can just go through each question that comes up.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. Hopefully I have built trust, because for me, this is every day. Here in SEO Ranking, we are using these tools every day in order to help our SEO team in order to be more efficient and more productive. Okay, so as Andrew said, what I'm going to do next is, we have seen a little bit about about Claude, right? Why we have started with Claude? Basically because they pioneered the MCP framework, and its support is very friendly. The same MCP server can also power Gemini, okay? Google is said to be releasing Gemini 3.0 Pro in the near term. Some people say today, 18th of November, but I bet for the 22nd of November, as that's the first option right now on Polymarket. So I would say I want to be prepared to be using the latest model that Google releases, because everybody says on X and Twitter that that's going to be the best model around. So I want to be prepared for that. And by the way, Sander yesterday said that this is going to be only used at the very beginning on Gemini CLI, which is using the terminal. So let's be prepared for that, okay? So in order to enable this, basically what we have to do is go to another place. So we have already downloaded the MCP server, right? So what we want to do right now is tell Gemini that this MCP server exists. So we go to the desktop, we go to the hard drive, users, my user, Gemini folder, which has a dot at the beginning because it's hidden right now. And here I want to open this file, settings.json. Let me open this one with Sublime Text again. And here I have the text. This was an older version, so I'm just going to delete it and copy the version that I was using before. I come here to the tutorial. Oh, sorry. Okay, I come here. I copy this text. Okay, I copy it here. Just be mindful to have this comma at the end of the text that you have pasted. And here we are going to be pasting the API key, which is this one over here. Just going to be saving. It is recommending me that something is not correct. Let me see if I messed up something. Okay, it's talking about the indentation probably. Okay, we'll discover soon enough if everything is going correctly, because we are going to be using Gemini. Okay, so we are back in the terminal. Okay, so let's be using Gemini. In order to talk to Gemini, okay, yeah, as I said, this is not working because of this. Let me see what is wrong. Okay, I see. Sorry. This one shouldn't be here. Okay, Right now it works. Sorry for that. Gemini, fingers crossed that everything is working. Okay, amazing. We are back. Sorry, I need to open it a little bit. Otherwise, we are not going to be seeing the beautiful Gemini logo on top of it. Okay, we are here. Google is updating every day because, as I said, I suspect that the first place to get the latest model is from here, Gemini CLI. Okay, and it's already saying, okay, you are using one MCP server. So let me just ask it which tools from MCP do you have access to? So it is going to be thinking a little bit, and hopefully if everything goes well, it is going to be answering all the different tools that it has access to. Okay. Okay, sorry, because of a live demo, I forgot to be using here the API key. That's why it was not working. Just let me just reload everything again. I need to exit and finish again. So the problem was that I forgot to add the API key because I got nervous a little bit. Sorry. So we are back here. Do you have access to MCP server? So right now everything should work a little bit faster. So just to introduce a little bit what we are going to be asking Gemini here, what we want to do is around the job to be done around AI search, the share of voice. Okay, here we care about AI systems because they are the next way for people to be looking for places, and that's the next way for SEO, right? So it is not just classic rankings, but the presence in AI overviews and assistance is super important. So it is taking a little bit. Oh yeah, sorry. Do you have access? Asking the magic. Okay, this is taking a little bit too much time. Okay, I saw.
So Guifré, maybe while it's doing the loading, can we maybe focus on the prompts a bit more, because we have a specific question about focusing on the functionality rather than the setup. So let's just open up the minds of the people of today's workshops attendees and just show the list of prompts and just go through them just to get people inspired into what things can be done.
Super. So let's do that. Basically, here we showed the SERP and backlinks analysis that we did, right? But here we have 4 other things that are super interesting. We can do the domain analysis. Okay, this is basically getting the most common task for SEO marketers, I would say, which is getting traffic data worldwide and country specific, identifying which markers are the best one, right? In this case, for Wix.com, I ask global and country level organic traffic and top countries, the top 10 organic competitors sorted by number of shared keywords, and a short recommendation on where to focus. Okay, and basically what happened here is it started pulling data from domain overview worldwide, right? This is used our API with using this one. Domain is Wix.com, show zones list 1 because it wants to pull all the different countries. Okay, and here is the response. Here you see for organic, worldwide, all the numbers, then all the different list of countries. The US, UK, Australia, Spain, and so on. Okay. Then it went ahead and it analyzes competitors. So organic competitors in terms of organic traffic for Wix for the US. Basically, these are the list of competitors that we identified. Okay, and we wanted to go through each of them and identify for which competitor each country that it is ranking stronger, right? And basically, Claude did the very same thing over and over for a particular market, and then the competitor on that market, one market, Japan, and a competitor for that market. Okay, so it repeated this story over and over, and it created this report. It says the total organic traffic, the top 10 countries for organic, and the top 10 organic competitors by shared keywords. For me, the amazing thing is just that it helps you understand the workflow, and it helps you build intelligence on top of the data, right? Sometimes you need to, when you are building these workflows on your own, you need to be thinking, okay, I'm going to be pulling this data. It's tricky. You need to use the API. You need to get the data and so on. Then you get the data and you need to think, okay, what I want to do with this data, which strategy I want to. Instead, here, the MCP and the AI are coupled together, and they are already thinking the steps, and everything works super smart and giving you a lot of different ideas. And if something is not relevant for you, you can always redirect the conversation, right? In this case, imagine that, for example, it has missed one of the main competitors. So let me cheat a little bit. So imagine that I want to compare Wix.com. I am cheating a little bit with this list of competitors, but I know that they are really strong versus this competitor, right? Okay, you missed comparison versus Hostinger. Okay, which market they are better than us? Something like this. Okay, and in case that you have your own intelligence and your own knowledge, and in case that the AI assistant is just missing anything, you can ask this question, and the AI is going to be requiring the data necessary and pulling the new request for you. Okay, it is going to be doing the same worldwide data with zone list set to 1, and it is going to wait until the API returns that request, and it is going to be creating a report on top of that. Okay, you can see here the API answered with a list of all the countries, and right now it's thinking about, okay, market performance and the gaps between Hostinger and Wix. Okay, in this case we are using Optimus 4.1, which I have to be honest, this consumes a crazy amount of credits. So probably the standard package is not enough for you to run it, but the results are worth it, super worth it. Okay, so it is going to be consuming different API keys in order to pull all the results. Okay, so you can redirect and help one another in order to have the best results. Here you can see you can do the same for keyword research. Okay, in case that you want to do you want to get inspired with different keywords and so on, you can ask it as you will ask a colleague in order to provide a list of keywords that you know that have traffic, that they are relevant, in order to help you, in order to have dedicated landing pages, in order to grow in traffic values for the different markets based on your strategy.
Yeah, hey, Guifré, I just wanted to jump in because there's a question specifically about different versions of Claude. So maybe you can elaborate, because you were mentioning during our dress rehearsal that different versions have different limits. So if you could just provide a bit more details for our chat.
This is super custom for each of the different AI assistant that we are using, right? In this case, we are talking about Claude, and Optimus 4.1 is the strongest, and usually it consumes around 10x credits in comparison with Sonnet 4.5. Okay, I would say, as Claude is describing it, Sonnet 4.5 is the smartest for everyday tasks, and I would say the most reasonable in order to use it, right? In this case, what we are using in SEO ranking is basically Gemini, because it is part of our Google Workspace, right? And you can get the API key and you can authenticate in Gemini CLI, and everything is included. So depending on your preference, every AI model speaks in a different way. Usually the standard packages are always around $20 per month, something like that. If I were to be using Claude, I will be picking probably Sonnet 4.5, because otherwise I will be speaking about a monthly bill of around $200 per month. And this is right now something I would prefer to skip.
Yeah, and a follow-up from the same from the same webinar attendee. How are the results when deep research is not used? So have you tried doing that as well, Guifré?
Yeah, basically the first thing that I expect to happen, we are going to be seeing it live together, is that instead of 12 steps, the thing is going to be similar to 1 or 2 steps maybe. But let's just try it, okay, together. Let's open a new chat, and we are going to be using the Sonnet 4.5, okay. Previously, we see that it did 12 steps because it recognized the context window is way larger, right? It is able to understand all the different things that you want to do, all the different endpoints, right? And instead here, it is going to pick up a single endpoint probably, and it is going to get the result on that. So let's see if we can get it working.
Again, while we were talking, another follow-up, again, on the same issue. How many credits would you estimate would be used by Opus versus Sonnet 4.5 for the prompt you just showed?
I am not sure about the difference, right? But with Opus 4.1, I suggest that with around 20 endpoints request, it is going to be consuming all your credits. So when I was creating these 4 different conversations here, right, yesterday, here there are 12 steps. And here for SERP and backlinks, I think that they were around 4 and 4. Yeah. So after I did these 2 conversations, I ran out of credits, right? So I would say that Opus 4.1 consumes a lot of credits. Yeah, definitely you need to be, if you switch windows, things just get broken. So Opus 4.1 consumes a lot of credits. That's a little bit pricey at the end of the day. But for us, this displays a little bit one of the things that we wanted to say at the very end of it, right? What is the next steps when dealing with AI, right? The next step is agent building, because let me
Yeah, let's make the transition. I'm going to hide myself again.
Okay. So basically, that's a great question in order to understand where everything is going, right? So up to now, we have been driving each workflow manually. So we wrote a prompt for local SERP, another one for link building, and another for keyword research, right? But the next step is to let the system drive those steps for you. This is where the agent comes in, as you have already mentioned, right? Thanks to the MCP, the system is no longer forced to answer from training data only. It thinks as a junior SEO who knows how to use SEO ranking. You tell them the outcome you want, not which buttons to click. Okay. In practice, the agent is going to do a simple loop over and over. It plans, okay, to answer this, I need lost keywords, top competitors, and keyword gaps. Okay. It acts, so it calls the tools we expose via MCP, the different tools. Okay. It observes, so it is able to read all the results, and then it decides, okay, should I either be calling another tool or produce a final answer, right? So it is able to invest this knowledge that it has, its intelligence, in order to understand how to model all the workflow. So the evolution looks something like this. Today, we are writing good prompts that use MCP tools. But tomorrow, we wrap this into agents that run these workflows for us on demand or just on a schedule. So basically, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. Now let's. We wanted to sort of not wrap it up, but find out a bit more from you guys. What specifically are you interested in? Because one of the first questions during today's workshop was, are we going to be showing ChatGPT? The reason that we did not show that because the setup takes too long and we wanted to focus on a bit more in the first go. But the possibility to use ChatGPT is there. And depending on how you guys, how much of interest you have in this, we're thinking about having another event like this in a couple of weeks, a month time, maybe. But with focus on ChatGPT, how you can do everything like this, but using ChatGPT. And obviously, Gemini, we couldn't focus it for half an hour because just the interface is not what we want to show off right now. So yeah, the question, you can see it on the screen, but yeah, we just want to figure out what exactly, how we can continue developing the tool. Okay, and another question, or not a question, maybe a suggestion. I'll just bring it up on the screen so that Guifré can see it as well. I think you should mention how to use Replit to host the MCP server. Okay, that's everything.
Amazing,
All of your
amazing.
thoughts are great. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So if I can steal a little bit more of your time here, I would say, Cameron, great question. While the people is just answering, right? Basically, in case that you want to have a remote MCP right now, what we are going to be suggesting you is using Replit, for example, right? Here is the documentation that we showed at the very beginning. And here we have some quick links. Okay, we have been using the local server setup. Okay, in case that you want to use the remote server, for example, for ChatGPT, for agent building capabilities, here is what we are going to be using. Okay, here we are going to be doing the same, but instead from our local machine using the terminal, right, we are going to be hosting the code inside the cloud. Okay, in this case, Replit, which is a great tool, extremely easy to use. So we are going to navigate to Replit, create REPL, and everything. So I think that it is better for us to have another workshop because we are almost out of time for that purpose.
Yeah, so you guys can imagine how this event would have gone if we just focused on everything at once. We've just been all over the place. So yeah, I think it's coming. The event is coming. Just let us know how interested you are in finding out how to use our MCP server with ChatGPT. Yeah, share all your comments. We'll definitely take that into account. All right, so we're finished with the poll. Yeah, let's do a couple of more slides, Guifré. I think you wanted to show what is coming soon.
Yeah, thank you everybody for just sharing your thoughts. I would say SEO ranking is expanding rapidly. Okay, so we will be present in NA10. We have recently launched it, and Looker Studio, Make.com. So we want to be present in and enable your workflows wherever you are. But what is coming soon? Okay, first. As some of you have already asked for this is too technical, right? Too hard to follow. So first, hosted SE ranking MCP for ChatGPT and other assistant. Today we showed how to connect Claude locally and Gemini with Docker and how to run the server remotely on your own. You have that for that the documentation. The next step is that we are going to host the MCP server for you on our site, and basically with one URL, everything will be set up for you. So that's checklist on the roadmap for mid-December. Next, this is one of the best experiences for your site. You want to rank higher in Google, right? But for that, you need to have good quality on your domain. Sometimes the quality decreases from Google's perspective in case that you have broken links, duplicated H1 titles, and so on. How can you identify all of that when you are building reports for your clients? Basically using our website audit. Okay, this is already available through the API, but we are going to be enabling that through MCP. Basically, the workflow is you provide us with a domain, and we are going to be scanning all the subpages, all the subdomains, and everything from that page. Usually, we have seen around 200 to 300 pages per domain, and we are going to be analyzing all the different errors that the different bots are going to be flagging and decreasing your authority and your quality from your site. So this is going to be creating a report, and what better than MCP, because MCP is super technical. So it is going to be seeing all the errors, and it's like this in order to say, okay, let me create the Jira task with almost the error and the solution. So it's super fast for you to resolve those topics with MCP. Then also predefined workflows inside the AI assistant, right? Instead of copy pasting the prompts from the website, from the page that we have shared, copy pasting it into Claude, Gemini, and so on, you will be able to use them as within the Claude assistant. And finally, daily rankings via natural language. So part of SE ranking, we have a feature that is called projects, right? A project means a set of things that we have automated for you. This is like the daily rankings. So this is something that you will be able to enable using the API, using the MCP. using natural language. With that, I'm done from the product side and the MCP side. Andrew will walk you through what happens tomorrow with Black Friday and everything. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Guifré. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. And I wanted to give you a sneak peek into something that is going to be official tomorrow. So our Black Friday offer is going to go live tomorrow. And I'm not going to go into all the details for legal reasons, but I can tell you for sure that it does include a 20% discount on the API and plans that include the API, plus a whole lot more. Our add-ons, a couple of other products. So just be sure to check it out once it goes live tomorrow. And we'll also just send you a link in the follow-up email. Now, enough about that. But the Q&A is basically over, but I did have one question in the chat that I saw that I know that Guifré would love to answer. Any insights on incorporating N8N workflows?
So is this question about incorporating workflows into N8N or the workflows that we have in N8N to MCP? Because as I have just mentioned, we have our own MCP community node created, and we have, if I remember correctly, 4 different workflows created. So in case that anyone here is interested in N8N, we can send you all the information that's required in order to run that locally or and be able to use some predefined workflows. Basically, the workflows are the similar jobs to be done that I have shared about using SERP, backlinks, domain analysis, keyword research, and AI search, right? So with API, you can get all the research data from SEO that you will need, and that's available in N8N.
And I'm just gonna say this is the final question, and I'm gonna do the outro slide. So, which AI assistant do you find gets the best, most reliable results?
Okay, Kimberly, thank you very much for that question. This gets a little bit personal at the end of the day, right? I have to say that ChatGPT recently released GPT 5.1, and one of the most exciting things for me is that you can ask it not to use M dashes. You know those long dashes that it was always using, and for me, I never liked them. So ChatGPT is ranking a little bit higher since that changed a little bit. But just for writing and thinking about things from the workplace, I like a lot Gemini. And every time that I need to develop some code or everything, I leverage Claude, because in terms of writing code, for me, Claude is the very best. So instead, depending if you want to keep it personal, work related, and so on. So it's a little bit personal, but all of them has top-notch models.
Unfortunately, no one size fits all approach right now at the moment. Yeah, no, I would also love just to have one answer for everything, but yeah, I can see that different AIs are focusing on different things just to have that market share and stay unique. All right, thank you for your questions. I'm gonna do the outro slides and invite you to sign up for an expanded free trial of SERanking that gives you a lot of different capabilities, access to a lot of different tools. Be sure to do that if you have not tried SERanking yet. And when you're going to be doing that, make sure to use your business email. That way you'll get a lot more benefits from it. It will help us help you even more by providing you with the right materials, supporting materials, just to guide your journey through SERanking, so that you make the most of your free trial and possibly convert if this is the solution that is right for you. We also are happy to have you join our community on Meta. So be sure to scan the QR code. We talk about different stuff that we are working on. You can ask our team questions about the platform, about SERanking, about SEO. And we just have a brainstorm discussion, maybe with your peers, with our experts. Yeah, and we have different giveaways. So be sure to join that community and follow us wherever, because we are everywhere practically, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter. And yeah, and be sure to reach out to us if you have any suggestions, have any specific requests, because we'd love to help you make the most of our MCP server to help you get the data that you need in the quickest time possible. So obviously there are loads of different AI assistants that can help you do this. Right now we focused on Claude and Gemini, and hopefully we'll see you in the future for another event where we'll focus on Claude and remote server setup. Oh, sorry, not Claude, but ChatGPT and the remote server setup. So yeah, let's stay in touch and let us know how everything's working out for you. Reach out to our support team. Yeah. And yeah, thank you again for joining. Thank you, Guifré, for sharing everything. And I'm going to wish everybody great, happy optimizing and search. Yeah, and stay safe.
Thank you.